Kingdom, what's good? All right, so I was literally just, you know, having my dessert after dinner, thinking, you know, the day is done, right? And I was just browsing a little bit YouTube. I'm eating some ice cream because I'm a fat fuck. I was browsing a little bit YouTube, and I discovered this video called "Is Dutch Being Replaced?" But seriously. And I watched a couple minutes of it. Like, okay, yeah, you know what? I gotta react to this, bro. Because this is a topic I'm actually very passionate about. I mean, as a Dutch person myself, born and raised, okay, all 26 years of my life, I have been, I've grown up in the Dutch culture in arguably one of the most secluded villages, possibly in the Netherlands. I don't know if it's true. Let me look it up. Bierum, Koolhoorn, and Giethoorn. Okay. I don't live in any of those places. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're hopping into the video by the person called Recipe in Lingo. I probably mispronounced that, but I don't really care. Here we go.
Hallo. Alleen een latte macchiato met havermelk, alsjeblieft.
Sorry, can you repeat it?
Okay, English?
Yeah.
God, I nothing pisses me off more than whenever I go to, hell, a McDonald's, right? And I, for once, decide, you know what? I'm just gonna order at the bar or at the desk, right? And this motherfucker speaks English to me. Nothing infuriates me more. And it's not because I'm not fluent in English, because I am, right? I clearly have a very, very well understanding of English, right? And I don't mind speaking English. But it's the concept of that I live in a country where the main language is Dutch. I only speak it inside of my own house. And even that, maybe like 90% of the time I'm speaking English, because the majority of the time I'm speaking is whenever I'm recording a video. And then the other 10% is like whenever I speak to my mom, maybe when my sister comes over or something, you know? So, horrible experience, bro.
I saw an ad for a university the other day. In it, several staff members rave about how easy it is to live and work in the Netherlands without knowing the local language. Oh, I can study and research in English. I can other things in English. I can phone the utilities company and the tax office in English. I get the appeal. It's convenient. But as a YouTuber who bangs on about language threat and power dynamics, that got me thinking, is Dutch itself under any threat?
Bro, what isn't under threat in the Netherlands, bro? Anything that is from our nation, right? The core of our nation is in threat. Isn't it obvious? Like, if we're not even talking about the language, just talk about the people, bro. Like, people don't even want to be Dutch. Like, immigrants that come here, they don't integrate. They just push their own culture in our already existing culture and just demand that we accept that. No, the fuck you don't, bro. If you don't integrate, just fuck off, honestly. Oh, Turkey #1. No, shut the fuck up, bro. If you are watching football, the World Cup, right? And you live in the Netherlands and you are rooting for a different country, honestly, fuck off. There's not, no. I don't give a fuck, bro. Anyway, before I get too xenophobic, let's keep it light today.
On the most extreme end of things, I've heard personal anecdotes about Dutch people raising the kids in English. Sadly, as a Hong Konger, that doesn't even surprise me anymore. Now, that story is most definitely far from the norm.
That's crazy, bro.
The Dutch Language Union does foresee the Dutch language eventually becoming a language spoken in the house with the family, having lost its place in the worlds of work, money, science, and technology. Not on a short term for sure, but there is a tendency towards diminishing spaces for the Dutch language. All because Dutch people are too nice.
I agree. We are too nice. We take too much shit.
I would actually rank Dutch as one of the hardest languages. Shocker, I know. It's on every list of easiest languages to learn for English speakers. But to me, the deciding
I think that's bullshit, bro. You really think Dutch is an easy language? Well, native Dutch people in high school, on average, fail 40 out of 100. 40 out of 100 students fail on Dutch. Oh, it's such an easy language. Shut the fuck up, mate.
factor is not grammar or vocabulary, but rather the one thing that Dutch people are infamous for, speaking English to you. Because they're so good at it, some might even say better than natives, when they interact with foreigners, the path of least resistance always is switching to English.
If we already talked to you in the first place.
On the other hand, that in itself constitutes the first barrier towards promoting the Dutch language. Migrants struggle to practice the language in their everyday lives. And you need to practice to get good. But if you're not good...
Watch Dutch content. That's how I learned English. That's how I... Literally, bro. How I learned English before I got taught it at school. I watched, like, channels that had, like, English spoken TV series like The A-Team with Dutch subtitles. Maybe I watched, like... I can't really think of anything else right now. But, like, just watching English content with Dutch subtitles. That's all you gotta do. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm like a prodigy, but I highly doubt it. But that's how I did it. That's how I learned English. Yeah. I had always high grades on English in school, so yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. Like, just watch some fucking Dutch shit. Go watch like TV, like Dutch TV shows with like English subtitles. Most of that shit is online anyways. Like, it's on YouTube. Use the YouTube captions, and you're golden, bro. Like, it really is not as hard as people claim it to be, bro. Like, if I want to learn a language, I would probably like try that at the start to like get a feel for the language, you know, especially when you have a different kind of accent and like how you pronounce things. Yeah, I think that's very crucial to understand before you like actually like try to speak it yourself. But that's just me, and I'm no teacher. All right, I know fuck all about learning languages. But anyway,
this is Callie, my Welsh friend in the Netherlands.
Yn pa iaith nes di astudio yn Leiden?
Wel, y cwrs angen rheidol i gyd yn Saesneg, ond wedyn oeddet ti'n gallu dewis gwneud rhywbeth trwy gyfrwng yr iaith.
And we'll chat about their first-hand experience and maybe struggles.
We'll look at the question from different perspectives.
I once heard somebody say that going to the Netherlands is like going to Japan. Like, if you stick in Tokyo, you could go, you know, you could literally easily, you know, communicate with people in English. But whenever you go to like the more rural areas, right, outside of Tokyo, then all of a sudden English is not gonna help you so far. I don't think it is 100% equivalent, but I do believe that the moment people like go outside of fucking Amsterdam, for God's sakes, people, stop going to Amsterdam. You get robbed while you're literally looking at it, bro. Like, in broad daylight. Anything you buy at any of these shops in the Amsterdam, bro, is like twice, maybe 3 times as expensive. It is incredibly expensive. Hotels, restaurants, outings, like nothing, anything. Anyway, also stop going to the Anne Frank's house, bro. She's not there anymore, bro. She's not there. It's just a house. All right, sorry. That's all my frustrations about tourists. Anyway, stop going to Amsterdam. Okay, go somewhere else. Go to The Hague. Go to Rotterdam. Go to Delft. Go to Lelystad. Go there, all right? There's like a great aquarium called Dolphinarium. It's about dolphins and other sea creatures. Crazy, crazy place. If you like sea creatures, amazing. If you travel a little bit further, you like roller coasters, boom, you got Walibi. Like, bro, just explore everyone always says, oh, I'm gonna explore Europe because it's so easy to travel through. But yet they only stick in Amsterdam. Like, at least go around the country, because apparently it's so easy to travel, right? It's not like it takes, you know, hours to go from one province to the other because traffic. And on top of that, it costs a fucking shit ton of money, you know, for fucking fuel. But yeah, it's so easy to travel. Shut up, mate. Shut up. Everyone who says it has never actually driven in traffic, okay? In the Netherlands. Anyway, cool. Let's go.
Everyone subscribe to him. Rhapsody in Lingo, the best content.
Yep.
Bro, fire your barber immediately. That's horrific.
Well, to be fair, my experience might not be the most representative because I look like this and am statistically more likely to be a visitor. But I sat and observed what languages people spoke, which is what I normally do anyway. And it's true, the more touristy an area is, the more likely the staff workers are to open in English. It's not just my experience either, because I've heard other people say that workers wouldn't even hesitate to go to English right away just to make things easier. When I went to a restaurant of a minority culture here in Arnhem, the default language was also English, as you might expect.
Yeah, because they can barely speak Dutch in the first place.
Least resistance.
They're probably like Turkish or Moroccan. Nothing wrong with that. They have amazing food, but
people are busy minding
their Dutch is horrific. One thing I do want to say, I don't mind people trying to speak English, right? However, or Dutch, I mean. However, if you do, right, it better be some like greeting, not something informational or a question. Because if you're really bad at Dutch, it's like you're speaking something completely different. Like, people who like try to speak Dutch, it is horrific, bro. Either you can speak Dutch or you can't. There's no in between. There's no in between, bro. Maybe you have like a bit of an accent, right? That's fine. No worries. I can, you know, see through that or listen through that. But the moment people like try to speak Dutch, but they can't, oof, bro, my ear has a like goddamn aneurysm. I don't know if that's even possible, but like you're just trying to like focus and trying to like understand what they're saying, but they're like, all that's coming out of their mouth is just sounds, and it's just like and I ain't there for that, you know? Like, anyway, good to you.
It also means that many places in cosmopolitan areas like Amsterdam and Berlin have started hiring people that don't even speak the local language because they don't need it anymore. They can talk to foreigners in English, and locals in those areas tend to speak English without a problem as well. Now, an increased number of foreigners who don't speak the local language...
And there it is. There it fucking is. There's the issue. There's your issue right there. The locals can have a sufficient amount of grasp on the English language. So they're like, who cares? Like, there is the issue right there. There it is. Now, you know, I don't, you know, hate anyone, you know, that can speak Dutch, but they need a job, right? Like, understandable, right? You're coming here, hopefully you're integrating, right? Anyway, at the start, fine, right? Like, it sometimes takes years to learn a language. I'm okay with that. You know, I am tolerant enough to give you the space and time to learn the language. I have no issue with that. But the moment the main store manager goes about like, okay, well, we'll just hire you and you, because you don't need to speak Dutch anyways. Like, I think there's your issue right there, bro. And even if, right, let's say for the first, Jesus Christ, what was in that ice cream? Anyway, even if for like the first couple, I would say months, right? Maybe you don't know like how to speak properly, but at least you'll know the words because the clients, right? The customers speak Dutch to you. So even if you can't have a conversation, you can still do your job and learn the new language that you're supposed to be learning, right? At the same time. And any manager who thinks otherwise should shut the fuck up.
So imagine a Dutch person going to a cafe in a cosmopolitan area for the first time and interacting with a new barista. Neither side would be 100% sure the other one speaks the local language unless they have a very clear Dutch accent. So to save time, because it's a busy city, they might as well default to English.
I mean, there it is though. Like, the moment you come into like, let's say as example, right? A bar, or did you say cafe? I don't know, whatever. The bartender, that's that's the word. The bartender that's standing there is probably like, hello, right? Right? Or, you know, in Dutch, probably like, hello. Like, it's pretty much the same, right? But like, at least you know, you'll hear the difference, right? And if the person comes in saying like, hello, how are you, blah blah blah, right? You're like, okay, well, this person doesn't speak Dutch, right? But the moment you say, you know, you just know, you know, like, it's just that's just the power between our people, bro. Like, we can just say, and we know exactly what you mean. I know where I was going with that, but I made a joke out of it, I suppose.
End up with two locals speaking a foreign language to each other.
That's where I was going for. Yeah, that's all you gotta do. Like, if you're not certain if he speaks Dutch or not, you say or or you do it like, if it's like time, like morgen, or they don't really say midday, huh? No, we don't really say that. We only like say it like whenever it's like morning. I guess most people greet each other at morning. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, enough bullshit. We'll never get through this video at this pace. Okay.
Wales, really. When I was there, I could never tell if someone was a Welsh speaker or not unless I asked them or I knew them already. This phenomenon will likely persist and potentially...
Yeah, okay, but like Wales, like no disrespect, right? But that's like, listen, right? We have Dutch, and we have like, I don't know how to name it in English, Fries and Groningen, right? And those are like two different provinces, and both of them, like the rest of the whole entire Netherlands, the rest of them can't understand shit what they're saying, right? And that's kind of what Welsh is for, like, British people. It's not really the same, but I understand his example here.
But it's also not outside the realm of imagination that as people move around more, this defaultism could spread.
No, it will not, because there's people like me, all right? I was never really a huge advocate of like Dutch culture, right? I wasn't like very proud to be Dutch, right? Until I noticed that the country was going downhill, and for some reason I found my inner patriot, and now I am a huge advocate for the Netherlands. Yeah, great story, mate. Nobody gives a fuck. Oh, Leiden. Okay. Bro, really moving around.
Now, what about the fact that 3/4 of master's programs are taught in English? Certain institutions, such as the Eindhoven University of Technology, either teach all of the master's courses or just all of their degrees.
Yeah, but like, if you're like in a university, you would expect people to like have a, you know, intellectual level to easily speak English on top of their native Dutch, right? And then on top of that, like the internship people, right, will like travel from wherever to study here, right? They already know English, because, you know, people who are intelligent, they speak more than one language, and likely they'll speak English, because English is like one of the most spoken languages on earth, next to Spanish. I think Spanish is still number one. No, Mandarin is number one, right? I mean, if you like go to like most people speaking it, but like internationally speaking, I would say English, and then like Mandarin or Spanish. I think. Anyway, whatever.
Ag erbyn hyn, mae yna dipyn o bobl sydd yn cwyno fod yn anheg, bod nhw ddim yn cael y cyfle i astudio yn y Iseldireg. Dwi'n meddwl bod rhan fwy o bobl ifanc yn derbyn y ffaith bod rhaid iddyn nhw gallu wneud o'n Saesneg hyd yn oed os nad ydyn nhw'n dewis wneud.
I think that's also an issue. I think there should be a choice. Like with technology now, like shouldn't be like too difficult to actually, you know, have a course that is natively Dutch and like English if you want to, right? But I don't think English should be the main course, right? I think Dutch should be the main course, and if you happen to, like, you know, not speak Dutch or anything like that, there can be made like accommodations for you to like do it in English, right? But I don't think they should like default it to English. Like, this is like saying like, oh, you go to a French university and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do it in English. No, they're gonna look at you and they're gonna be like, I don't know. I don't speak French, bro. That was hella racist. Anyway. But yeah, like, they go like, they're not gonna let you, bro. They're like, especially the French is proud. Like, French people are proud, so they will not let anyone like pick anything above their language, bro. That's just how it is, and I think we should be the same.
In the past couple of years, the Dutch government introduced the Balanced Internationalisation Act, which requires that 2/3 of the teaching in bachelor's degrees to be in Dutch. That's to say, if 1/3 of the credits in a degree are taught in a foreign language, such as English, the degree itself will be classified as a degree taught in a foreign language.
De toets anderstalig onderwijs
That makes sense. Logically speaking, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I don't see the issue in that. Yeah.
takes into account different conditions and factors
To determine whether the use of a foreign language in the degree adds value to the teaching. Otherwise, Dutch is the default language, though a bit of backlash meant that the law would only apply to newly proposed degree programs. Will it work? Well, as a relatively small language, though almost any language is a small language in comparison to English, to achieve such a balance is nigh impossible. Any work conducted in Dutch will by default be more easily overlooked by the international academia just by virtue of being less accessible. But if you try to bolster the local academia, let's say by legislation, you risk turning away lots of research talent that could add a lot to it.
Yeah, but this again, like, coming back to like technology nowadays, like, oh, here it comes, like, number one enemy of this decade, AI. Whoa, whoa. Don't click off the video. Like, languages are gonna become probably irrelevant in the future, anyways, because as it is now, right? Eventually, we'll have like glasses that like automatically translate whatever we hear. Like, realize that, bro. We're gonna have like, I mean, we already have like apps on our phone. Like, we just have, you know, Google Translate. People speak into it, it translates into the language you prefer. Like, it is already a thing, right? So saying like, oh, a Dutch degree is like less valuable, right? I can understand why some people would argue that, right? But on the other hand, English is like one of the most easiest languages to learn in the entire history of languages, right? So even if they have a degree that is technically like Dutch, right? More likely than not, these people can speak English. They just studied it in the language of their own people. Like, you know? And if this is gonna be an issue, then why don't they like put like a little extra exam on top of it to see if you actually speak English, and then you can put that on the fucking, I forgot the word, degree, right? Yes, English is a tough language. No, I'm just stupid. But yeah, like, if they just put that on the degree, there's no issues there, bro. Like, now you can have a Dutch degree with like a little like extra, like, oh, but I also speak English fluently, right? And there's no issue.
Maybe it's more important to keep Dutch as the social language?
I want to learn,
Yep.
but the environment is not always encouraging. I feel like I'd have more motivation if I had something tangible to grab onto, like a Dutch friend, that I really vibe with.
Yeah, there it is. There it is, bro. Listen, Dutch people already don't really like, you know, like they don't really interact with you. And if they do, it's brief and short, right? So whenever there's like someone that like tries to learn Dutch, right? And they're trying to like come at you like, hello, like, you know, that was not racist, by the way. I'm just like, you know, speaking badly Dutch. Like, you already know what time it is, bro. Like, you're all gonna be like, oh god. Let me guess, you want to know where the red light district is, or where can you get weed, or whatever, right? And 9 out of 10 times, it's always the case, right? Fucking hate those people, bro. I don't even tell them anyway. I'm just saying, like, yeah, you should just fuck off. Like, generally, like, if you ask, like, where can I get weed, or where can I find the red light districts, honestly, like, kick rocks, honestly, like, fuck you, bro. Yeah, I understand this. I can understand that this could be a big struggle for learners. Yeah,
I'll probably be more motivated if we buy a property or have a kid here. These social opportunities linked to the language shape how much the language means to me, and I don't think I can force it at this stage.
Now, when all is said and done, it all
Fair
boils
enough.
down to one thing. It has become too easy for Dutch people to talk to people in English. It could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it.
I mean, we are the kind of people that are very, I say this, in favor of easy and less resistant as possible, right?
I've lived in Sweden, which has a similarly high level of English ability, and it was a common occurrence for an entire group of locals to switch to English when a foreigner joins in without even thinking about it, and they might even be stuck in English for a little bit after the...
Yeah, because they're civil. They're accommodating. They're good people. It's in their morals and values. Because they know how it is to, for example, be on, like, the metro, for example, right? And they hear somebody, like, speak Arabic. And they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They could be talking about anything. Most likely, then they are just talking about some stupid nonsense, right? But because it's a different language, and you have no, like, you can't even grasp a single word. Like at least whenever I hear somebody like speak German, I'm like, okay, that sounds kind of similar to Dutch stuff. Like, okay, I can kind of understand what he's saying, right? Or Belgian, or like, it's like another languages, like, no, let's keep it at that. We don't need that many examples anyways, right? But like, whenever you hear like a language that you can't understand for shit, right? Like, you feel left out, right? And I think at a core, in Europeans, they don't want to make people feel like they're left out. At least that's how I was raised. That's how I grew up. And it's just I think something that a lot of especially Dutch people are like. And from his example, it sounds like the Swedish are a little bit of the same mindset. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Bro, I've been doing too much today. I'm just tired. I'm sorry.
Foreigner has left. Obviously, I'm just talking about a general tendency. I'm not talking about everyone here. I personally know some people who will be very happy to help foreigners practice their Dutch.
Absolutely, but not when you are in a rush and you're asking like what metro goes where. Like, bro, download this app called 9292. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. If you want to go across the country, download the app. It will plan the route for you. Incredible. But yeah, anyway, like, whenever there needs to be like swiftness, like, nobody want to like help you with that, right? Now, if you like sit down, like learn to know somebody who happens to be Dutch, right? Like, yeah, hell yeah. They'll be like, oh yeah, I'll teach some words. Absolutely. But random strangers in the first place, they don't talk to you, okay? Strangers don't really talk to each other here. So, especially if you're like coming in with like terrible Dutch, like they ain't got no time for that shit, bruh. They don't get paid for that. Time is money, bro. Time is money, bro. We're not called greedy for no reason.
Rather than the unconscious switch to English to make things easy. That's the thing that me and my friends call the Scandinavian treatment, which of course applies here as well. It's widely accepted to switch to English by default as a form of politeness and courtesy the moment you hear someone's foreign or not from here.
O'n i'n ffeindio yn eitha anodd gwneud ffrindiau efo pobl Iseldireg, a deud y gwir. Ni'n ffeindio, a deud y gwir, oedd gen i fwy o ffrindiau Eidaleg pan o'n i'n astudio yn Leiden. Na ffrindiau Iseldireg, o'n i'n ffeindio lot.
Yeah, but I also think that it's also like the issue. Like, you're going into like a university, right? Like, words. You're going into a university, right? And you're expecting to like make friends with these people. Like, no, they're there to learn. They're there to learn. They live. Bro, listen. This is pretty much how it works, right? You go there to study. If you're very poor, right, you have to have another job on top of like studying, right? So it's study, job, sleep, study, job, sleep, study, job, sleep, study, job, sleep, study, job. You get the deal, right? Like, they don't got time to make friends. They got money to make, so they can pay their fucking ridiculous amount of like debt.
Nes I ddechrau gweithio, a nes I symud tŷ, a mwy sydyn do'n i ddim yn canol bubble.
There it is. You went outside. What the fuck is that word, bro? The herd. That's it. That's the word. You went outside of the herds of all these international people, and all of a sudden, whoa! What the hell? You found people that actually speak Dutch and, you know, want to interact with you in Dutch and like don't want to speak English. Sometimes you gotta move, you know. Sometimes, listen, if you look for ducks, you go to the river, right? If you're looking for sheep, you go to where the grass is. That's a brilliant analogy. What the hell? No way nobody has ever made that before. All right, anyway.
But what's clear is that switching has become as natural as it is for a child raised bilingually. You hear a different language, or you hear your first language with an accent, something in your brain just clicks, and then you switch to an easier language for everyone without even thinking. Even the environment itself has become a linguist. And so the question now is whether this language fluidity will keep flowing as it does now.
I mean, this is a good example, actually. As long as public transport keeps saying shit in Dutch, we should be fine. Jesus. We should be fine. I think. Hopefully.
English and Dutch are remarkably similar languages, so it's really frictionless to adopt entire words and structures into Dutch. There's a relatively high level of code mixing, ranging from discourse markers like anyway or swear words to loan words in sectors like tech, business, higher education, youth slang and advertising.
Yep.
You've got loans like computer, manager, meeting, deadline, upgrade, printer, liker, deleter, googler, chiller. You could even lift entire structures and expressions from English wholesale into Dutch. There are collocations that are quickly shifting, like...
Yeah, but it's because it's a Germanic language. Like, it came from the same root. Like, of course the leaves are gonna look the same. Like, it makes sense. It came from the same goddamn sampling, bro. It just branched out to a different, like, side of the world.
Supposed to say "en beslissing nemen" to take a decision, but more and more people are saying...
Whoa, wait. Hold on. A decision taken. Take a decision. It's make a decision. It's not take a decision, make a decision.
En beslissing maken, to make a decision. Similarly, you've got things...
Oh, never mind. Bro, he just schooled me on... Okay, whatever.
Contact marker, to make contact, as opposed to contact opnemen, to take up contact, or an impact marker, to make an impact, as opposed to impact hebben, to have impact over someone. There are idioms that have been lifted, like in controle zijn, to be in control, or dat maakt sense. And yes, they took that entire word from English in that spelling.
Wait, that's actually no way. Sense is not an English Dutch word. There's no way, bro. That's slang. Hold on. Sense is geen oorspronkelijk Nederlands woord, maar een Engels leenwoord. Dat is het Nederlands wordt gebruikt. Dat in het Nederlands wordt gebruikt voor gevoel, zintuig, betekenis of verstand. Het wordt vaak gebruikt in termen als common sense. Het is dus een inburgering leenwoord, geen inheems term. Yeah, so it's not a real word. It's a borrowed word. That's how it's called.
In andere woorden, there are loads of these anglicisms because they're just so damn easy to translate. Some are accepted, others less so. Maar het ding is, that's just language change. Every language has adopted heaps of foreign words into the language from whichever language was hip at the time. I'm speaking English right now, so I should be the last person to say foreign words kill a language.
Although I do gotta say, with like social media now, of course people are gonna like pick up certain phrases or languages that are common on it online, right? I mean, look at me. Like, I learned English because the Dutch television provided English TV with Dutch subtitles. Hell, even whenever, like, I think like past 8, that like the Disney Channel, for example, became full English. Full English. No more Dutch. No Dutch dub at all. Just full on English. Like, so yeah, even children were already like came in contact with like English at a very early age, you know?
You could see it as a ship of Theseus kind of thing, but Dutch people will always find new ways to Dutchify the new terms and make it sound more natural. So, aan het eind van de dag, it's still Dutch.
Okay, yeah.
Now, this video has been more of a thought exercise. I don't really believe Dutch is in any danger, but I wondered, what if I did? Is there any evidence that's...
I disagree, bro. I disagree. Because... And here comes a xenophobic take. Whoa. Don't shoot me, bro. Don't shoot me in the neck. The more foreigners come in that refuse to learn the language, eventually the language dies out. Because it is a fact that immigrants have more children on average than born and bred Dutch people, right? So eventually they'll outbirth us, right? Which would be upsetting, in my opinion, right? And obviously there's a reason for that, like economy is shit, life is garbage, mental health issues, no good like view of the future, stuff like that, right? Like there's a lot of reasons why a lot of people don't decide to have children, right? And I feel like for some reason immigrants don't give a fuck about any of that. They're like, we're just gonna procreate and we don't give a fuck, right? I mean, probably because, you know, we as a society are way too generous to accommodate these people, but I digress. And yeah, that eventually it could become an issue, you know? It could be, yeah.
This possibility, but over the past few days I've had a great experience just trying to speak the language. I told some gallery receptionists in Haarlem that I could read Dutch, and they overestimated my abilities and fully switched into the language right away.
You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said I can read Dutch, because then they're like, oh, dus je spreekt Nederlands. Oh, perfect. Nou, helemaal geen probleem, joh. Ja, hey, ja, ik ben Stefan. Hoe heet jij? Like, they just start yapping in Dutch right away, bro. That's a really stupid idea, bro. Don't do that.
I casually said sorry in a Dutch accent to some teenage girls for getting into their way, and they responded, het maakt niet uit, without even giving a thought.
That's also a fact I've noticed. Dutch people are a lot more tolerant towards Dutch people. Like, for example, you're on a bike and somebody's on the bike lane. You already know who the fuck is on the bike lane, but regardless. And like you like ring your bell, right? Because that's what you do. And then they look up like they're stupid, like I walking illegal here. Yeah. Anyway, and when you hear like, oh, sorry, you're like, okay, fine. At least this guy knows how to speak Dutch. He might be an immigrant or a fucking tourist or whatever, but at least he had the decency and respect to learn our language. And they're like, okay, you know, I hate that you're in the bike lane, right? You're illegally walking the bike lane, but at least you give our country the respect to actually learn the language. And then like it just becomes less bad. But whenever like they look up like they're stupid, like oh yeah, illegal, and they say like sorry, like fucking tourists. You know, it's a whole different like experience. You know, it's a whole different like tolerance level. Yeah, great story, mate.
Ik spreek veel over talen. Ik leer de talen.
Oh, praat u gewoon Nederlands?
Een beetje. Ik versta een beetje meer. Maar ik kan niet spreken.
Seen as
I told you, I said it, bro. I said you don't say to a Dutch person, een klein beetje. Don't do it. Because when we say I know a little bit of Dutch, we mean what I'm speaking right now, right? Our whole entire like mindset whenever we say like I speak a little bit of English, we mean we actually speak English. But because we are not natively English, we are not allowing ourselves to say that we're good in English, right? So just in case that we say something stupid or wrong, we don't look like a fool, right? But whenever we hear somebody say I speak a little bit of Dutch, our immediate like thought is like, so this guy speaks Dutch. Right?
Sometimes I meet Dutch people who don't often work or socialize in an international setting, and they actually keep speaking Dutch to me despite my limited abilities. And they only switch when it's apparent that I can't continue the conversation anymore.
Yeah, that's normal. For example, my stepdad is terrible at English, like absolutely terrible, bro. And he works with people that don't speak Dutch. And oh boy, it sucks for him because he can speak English, they can speak Dutch. So it is all like a bunch of like hand movements and pointing and like, you know, head shaking and stuff, and maybe like some words here and there in English, and that's the extent of the communication. Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Or if you look at my English and my native Cantonese, as a UK resident, I'm also struggling to maintain this balance. We only have so much brain space and, more importantly, time and attention. Now,
True.
Imagine the same struggle, but on a countrywide scale and among non-language nerds.
I mean, if he is Cantonese, it's kind of insane how well his British accent is and everything.
Seen is going through the naturalization process, and she tells me that, in fact, the government is expected to raise the language requirement for citizenship to B1. Make of that what you will. When asked to reflect on her experience of naturalization, she says, "The fact that you don't have to speak Dutch to be able to build a life here is a very attractive factor about moving here as a foreigner."
We need to change that. We need to change that, bro. We need to make sure that people don't have the impression that they can just live here without being able to speak Dutch, bro. We should change that immediately.
Is it still worth learning Dutch? Of course. I don't speak it personally, but it's a beautiful language, even if native speakers never say so.
I was about to say, bro. Bro said Dutch is a beautiful language. Oh yeah. How about you pronounce the old way of saying The Hague? I don't think you'll think it's still a beautiful language. Great video. Yeah. Great video. Let me like and fuck it, I'll go subscribe too. Why not? good video, man. Yeah. So yeah, that was the video that I interrupted my dessert time for. Yeah, cool. Video is 22 minutes and this recording is 1 hour and 3 minutes. Fantastic. Alright, anyway, with that being said, let me know what you thought about the video in the comment section below. Leave a like and subscribe. That's about it. Take care.